welcome to Hypothetically Intentional, where we ask the question, what if we set intentions with everything we do? I'm your host, Michelle Albers, and today I have Angelica Roth of Earth and Sky Center with me today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I love what you're doing with the show. Being able to set intentions in the world helps us to be conscious, and I love what you're doing. So thank you.
Ah, thank you so much. I love that. On that note, would you like to set an intention for today?
Ooh, let's do it. Yes. Let's set the intention of asking the light of Reiki to help whatever words come through this interview, the interview that carries through this, that it bring light into the world. And so whoever needs to hear whatever messages come out today, asking that the light be revealed within you and that the light just expand through all that we do today.
I love that so much. Well, when we spoke really briefly before we hit record, and right out of the gate, you just tapped me in the heart space with travel, international travel. Can we start there?
Yes, I'm so excited.
I love
Yes.
travel.
Me too. My favorite thing to do in the world is to travel. And my absolute favorite thing overall is Reiki. So when we can travel for Reiki, oh my gosh, I'm in heaven. And so
Uh,
I am putting together a pilgrimage for students to do through traveling through Japan. So we have so many beautiful places that we're going to visit, activations of energy in different areas. And it will be the inaugural Dragonfire Reiki Level 1 class included as part of it. I've had the Dragonfire Level 5 Reiki class for quite some time, but I felt the energies coming down, activating Level 1 this pilgrimage.
okay, well now I'm intrigued. Tell me more about You said Dragonfire Reiki.
Yes, yes. So I'm a master of 8 different lineages because I believe that there are so many different flavors. It's all the same Reiki energy. All of Reiki is the light of love. And when it comes into us in our human form, it takes on our some of our own unique characteristics and different flavors, I guess I would say. And I love learning about various lineages of Reiki. And I was very surprised about 6 years ago when I felt Reiki come in this huge surge of energy over a 2 week period of time. And through that, I ended up writing a 100-page manual in those 2 weeks about the Dragonfire teachings, and it became a level 5 Reiki class. And I found out later, the same 2 week period, the day it started and the day the energy finished, like anchoring here, was the exact same time period that Holy Fire Reiki online energy came to planet as well. And I wasn't even in communication with William Rand or Colleen Benelli at the time, but we found out later, same window. And so I'm sure it wasn't by accident that Reiki had these beautiful rays coming down. And I feel like when there's a new lineage of Reiki that comes out, my first inclination, I have to say, I guess my first inclination when it came through me, I was like, I don't want this. I don't want I know I like studying this. I love to share things, but I don't want all the whatever could come with that. And so Reiki kept saying, no, it's here for a reason. You heard the call for a reason. And so it's been such an incredible process, kind of journeying through this. And what I've noticed, what was fascinating, is that there's a dragon energy that's starting to emerge on the planet. And more people, I'll be curious to hear if you've had an experience with this. More and more people are starting to see dragon energy in Reiki. I had, when the energy came down, I got these incredible visions of the realm of dragons in the higher levels of heaven that want to help us. And they're accessible because now there are so many people practicing Reiki and other forms of energy work. It's raising our vibration up, raising our consciousness up so we can access this. And without even telling a single one of my students or anyone in my life, all of a sudden my students started seeing dragons during their experiences, during the attunement or the placement of energy. And it was every class would have at least one or two students seeing dragons. So it gave me that confirmation. Oh, there's something to this. It really is real.
I love how you described that because that was like literally every time Reiki placed in front of me or came through me or just was trying to get my attention. However you want to describe that, I resisted every time. I'm like, no, no, no. That's not what we're gonna do here. And it's like, yeah, yeah, it is. And you'll surrender eventually, and it's like, and I say that in the most loving way. But my instinctual is always like, no, I don't. That's not what I was looking for. It's like, it doesn't matter what you were looking for. Yeah. And the
Exactly.
other piece, the dragon thing. So, I mean, I came into the world super skeptical. Just a really quick, like, tidbit about me. Really skeptical. Didn't really know how I felt about it or definitely didn't know anything about it. And then I took from many, many teachers and I just kept being called to it. And now I teach it myself. But I always was an animal person, but I didn't know that it was my intuition until later down the road. And it wouldn't be uncommon for me to see, I mean, dragons occasionally, but I find it interesting that you just brought dragons up because I was just teaching a teacher's like teaching how to teach workshop as part of a program. And when my student gave me an attunement, I just saw a dragon's eye, like super up close and personal. I was like, oh, hi, what are you here? You have a message for me. What's that about? So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I believe everyone has their own dragon Reiki healing partner when they come into Reiki is one of the things that they've mentioned. And they just are archetypes of wisdom. With taking this to Japan, I feel like it's like returning to the land of the dragons. I went
Mm.
by myself to Japan for 5 weeks in 2023, and it was incredible to be able to do something like that on my own, not meeting with a group or anything. I went to meditate on Mount Kurama for 21 days. And then I also ended up attending a conference in Osaka and trained with one of the Japanese Reiki masters. And one of the things I loved culturally that I did not expect was to find out that the dragon is the highest god in Japan. One
Oh,
of the
wow.
I met there told me that, and she pointed out I was at the birthplace of Asui, where the Amitaka Shrine is in his hometown, and there's a beautiful temple there. And to the left of it, the woman said that's the House of the Dragon. It's like a smaller building right there, and that's where the dragon lives. And it's amazing.
That is amazing. So, will you say more about this trip? Because this is a trip, I mean, it is specifically, I mean, I guess I hear it from what you're saying so far as like a Reiki, like a Reiki experience. The whole trip is around that and that'll be infused throughout as part of the experience. Tell me more about that. That sounds so amazing.
Yeah, so it's actually a fusion both of Reiki and then some of the shamanic techniques too. I
Oh,
teach,
cool.
all the classes I teach are over a longer period of time for integration. And I teach a 5 year class in shamanic practices, the introduction around the medicine wheel in that 5 years. So we have certain experiences that bring that beautiful earthy element in, and then other parts that are bringing in the light of Reiki while we tour different areas. So we'll spend a week in Kyoto. We're going to go to Mount Kurama, of course, the Reiki mountain. And the main theme around this pilgrimage is rebirth. When Asui went
Mm.
to the mountain, it was because he had tried everything to let go of the frustration, that short temper that he so often had. And he had been studying so solidly for 3 years with his Zazen master, still was frustrated. And the master said to him, the only thing left you can do is pretty severe. If you're willing to, and you go up to the mountain and be prepared to die. And that's a pretty big request to ask
Yeah.
anyone. And so, as he did, I won't go into the whole story here, but as he did, he had an incredible experience on the 21st day when he threw the 21st rock off the top of the mountain. And he'd been in such beautiful meditation through a lot of that. And it's actually was pretty cold on the mountain during the time that he was there. And there was no shelter or building that he was in. It would have likely been snowing during part of it. There was a small shrine that was knocked down in a tsunami in 2019. But so he stayed in the elements, basically doing this long meditation and fasting. And on the 21st day, that enlightenment just rocked through him like a bolt of a white flash that flashed through him. And through that, he realized it wasn't about needing to prepare to die physically, although he would have been willing to do that. It was letting go of being willing to die of the habits, the thought patterns, all of those boxes that we put ourselves into in this world through different patterns. And so when we go on pilgrimage, we're going to go with that same tone of rebirth. And so our first hike up Kurama Mountain will be very intentional about letting go of what do we want to release? What are we willing to clear? What are the blinders maybe that we haven't thought of or realized that are contributing to the choices that we make that have caused us to be wherever we are in life, good, bad, all of it, and to shed and to let go and to let the mountain carry us in that release. And then we'll be moving into another day where we'll be becoming a pillar of peace. Because if we want to be reborn, if we want to let go of who we've been, and we want to embody the light here and to live our best life, successfully accomplishing our mission, whatever that is, then we need to also be willing to be a pillar of peace in the world. The best way to have peace, to feel peace, is to embody it. So we'll be placing a world peace grid on Hyezon, which is the parent mountain overlooking Kurama Mountain, and afterwards going down the backside of the mountain to do a blessing of the world's waters and part of the rebirthing ceremony there. Um, and many different things on each of the days, but that's kind of the start of it, is that blessing of the world's waters, because when we set that intention for others, it not only helps the world, it comes back to us as well. And as the pilgrimage progresses, it'll get to where we're choosing, who are you on the fifth day? Who are you being reborn as? What energy do you feel coming in? Maybe things that you never would have even expected. And from after those 5 days, we'll be going to Gifu in the more northwestern part of Japan, where Usui was born, and some other things.
That's amazing. And so how long is the whole pilgrimage? How long is the whole trip?
12 days.
Okay. That's amazing.
I'm so excited. I'm really excited to bring people into this and the shamanic initiations as well as the Reiki initiations.
Yeah. I do. I love that you talk about the different flavors of Reiki and just like the other practices and living traditions that can, like, they all complement each other. And most, I don't know that I'll go so far as to say all, but like they work well together.
Yeah.
And I feel like the ones that we're called to and the ones that call to us, I just feel like we all have our own unique gifts. I don't know. This is my perspective right now. We all have our own unique gifts, our own strengths, our own like ways, and some of them are not discovered and uncovered yet. But we all have our own like alchemy. I just keep thinking of like alchemy. Like we all have our own magic recipe of like what could work for us in the best possible way. And I just think it's not usually just one thing. It's so many different pieces. And maybe this is a thing for a little while but then that fades out and something else fades in or comes in with a blast too. It's just, I don't know. I love the openness of it threading together, I guess, is what I'm trying to say with that.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that you use the word alchemy too, because on our third day is when we are becoming alchemists, turning our pain into power. And it's such a powerful term. I'm so glad you brought that up too, because all of these beautiful wisdom traditions come together in a way of helping us see that whatever we experience in life, whatever energies we come into, whatever challenges come up, we have this connection to source energy, so many beautiful paths to get us to remember how to connect with that source energy that's part of us. And through each of them, they teach us how to alchemize whatever we're facing into the nature of love or the nature of whatever it is we want. I feel like the source of everything, at the base of all of the wisdom traditions, is this incredible power of love and this incredible, just I often call it the light of love, oftentimes, because when we tap into that, that is the everything energy. That is the solution to every problem. The behind any miscommunication, it's usually feeling of a lack of love, or behind any angry situation, there's a perception of feeling a lack of love. And so when we can alchemize anything we want to alchemize in life, we simply bring love into it and it'll show us a path of how we can do that.
That's so I love that so much. I'm thinking about Reiki and I mean the shamanic journey and all of the different things. And I'm curious about your path. I want to ask this question and then I'm very curious. I want to talk about chakras and the exciting new release you have coming out into the world. So I do want to get to that. But before we do, it feels really important for some reason. And maybe it has to do with your trip, or maybe it has to do with just a listener or listeners who are listening. But I'm curious about like what was your life like before Reiki? Like where did you start? What does Reiki and all these beautiful, you know, this beautiful alchemy, what has that how's that changed your life?
Yeah, Reiki, I feel like, is a best friend. It's an incredible energy. It's the essence of life itself, I feel like. And I can't imagine my life without Reiki. When I came into this world, I knew at a very young age that my purpose in this life was to help bring the essence of love forward. I knew that my main mission was that I was supposed to teach and share and help everyone that I could to discover that the love they're searching for is already inside them. And you have to unlock that in yourself. I went through a lot of very challenging experiences early on in life that set me on my search for love and trying to figure out and understand my worthiness, or my why I felt at times unworthy of love, or what was that separation? Why do I long for it so much? And it was through those challenges that I had early on that were now I see completely essential for the mission that I have in this life, that I was able to come into this communion with really feeling like I understand, feel, and am one with the essence of love, which I would equate so highly with the same energy as Reiki itself. I studied Reiki when I was 18. When I was in eighth grade, after eighth grade, I decided to teach myself high school in a year and a half and went straight into college full time at 16. But I also wanted to get into massage therapy and to kind of see where that path would lead. But I wasn't allowed to do that till I was 18. As an adult, now I see why. At the time, I didn't.
Yeah.
And,
It's funny how that works.
yeah. And so through the massage college, I was able to learn about Reiki and a lot of other techniques that I just absolutely loved. And I started a practice immediately. So it's really been a part of my life for a long time. I'll be turning 50 this year. So it's been over 30 years that I've been practicing Reiki. And I just can't imagine a day without practicing it or utilizing it for myself and utilizing it really in everything. I had gone through a period of time in my 20s where I became very, very sick, though, and I was facing multiple organ failure multiple times. They had told my husband at times that he should say his goodbyes because they didn't think I was going to make it. And he refused and would bribe me with chocolate. And as I started to come through that, it was about 8 years that I went through that illness with lupus. As I came through that, I kind of turned my back on Reiki for a little while in energy healing because I had realized every single time, every single thing that I had in me was something I had consciously taken from a client. I had specialized in HIV and AIDS medicine, complementary medicine for HIV and AIDS patients. And so there were a lot of very serious issues that they had. And some of the people I would care so deeply about, and I found that I could kind of pull the illness out of them and into myself. I felt like I was invincible. I was in my 20s. And yet I learned later the severity not only of why we shouldn't do that because of what it can do to us physically, but also because there's a karmic lesson. Louise Hay talks a lot about the karmic lessons that are attached to any illness that we have. And so when I was pulling that from them, I was also taking their lessons into myself. And it kind of robs them of what they came in this life to do with learning those lessons and accumulated a bit more than what I had planned on me. So when I felt Reiki calling me back, when I started to get well, I basically volunteered full time on behalf of animals and would do large scale planning for various rescues to help cat rescues, especially. And so I felt Reiki saying, okay, it's time to come back. It's time to work on clients. You're supposed to teach. And I kept saying, no, I don't think so. I'm not going through that again. And there was a monk that came into my life that it was fascinating. The talks that we had were really interesting. And he really showed me that path of karma and how if I'm not cautious, I can take on those karmic lessons, even by just asking, please cause this person to be completely healed. That means it's my intention and not the light of Reiki or the universe's intention, whatever's best for that person. So Reiki assured me that if I get back to it, and I surrender everything to Reiki. So I no longer feel like it's my job to help somebody have the outcome that they want or that my human heart wants, but instead surrendering everything to Reiki, and Reiki guides the whole session. And I see the same kind of incredible instant miracles happen sometimes. Other times I see where lessons come up, clarity comes in, so we can figure out why is this going on? They can understand it easier and then heal themselves through that. I've learned so much about how to completely step back. The way I teach is that it's never us doing the healing. We only are the channeling the flow. We simply become a conduit for this beautiful high vibrational energy to become a practical tool to use in this world for the person in the way that kind of a little bit of a lot of my history.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. I think it's important because I think, I don't know, sometimes we get to a place where it has changed our life to so much that then I find if you don't go back and share kind of the origin story, something gets lost in the in between there. And I think for listeners to understand and know that, like, we didn't start here. Like, you didn't start in this place with this, it's an evolution. There's a process to it. And I feel like it's a friendship that develops, which maybe sounds a strange thing to say about a healing practice, but I didn't have a friendship with love, just to use that beautiful word and visualization. Like, that's a concept I can, like, that makes sense to me. In human words, that's as close as we're going to get, you know?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
didn't have a great relationship with that word. I didn't love myself. I didn't know how to feel love. I thought I knew how to give love, but I wasn't, and so I just think it's good to reflect on that and to share it because there's something about it that feels important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had struggled so much with depression when I was younger, so much. I'm actually in medical textbooks from one of the times I tried to take myself out of this world, and they said that I shouldn't have survived. I was quite mad that they brought me back, but it was because of that constant depression. It was before I received Reiki, and that deep, deep depression in that quest for knowing that I just needed to understand love. I wanted it. I wanted to know all about it. I wanted to know why I didn't feel worthy of it. And in that chasing it initially, there was so much depression and then anxiety as well. Even in the first many years that I was practicing Reiki, I think I had that mind that would like run. There were always thoughts going on in my mind. I'm not sure when those thoughts finally stopped. It was sometime when I was going through that sickness that it just kind of cleared that running. But then I feel like we have all these pivotal transformation moments, even through Reiki. When I went in 2023 to Japan, there was a significant shift that happened afterwards. And I was curious what would happen. I really went with an open spirit of, I have no idea. We'll see where it takes me. And I did not realize until afterwards how much anxiety I had beforehand for years, how much anxiety I had had. trying to be a perfectionist with things and all of that. And through that, I guess my own solitary pilgrimage initially, I came into this like relationship with harmony and peace I've never known before. And I'm
Mm.
so grateful for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I just think that's an important thing to note because I think sometimes, people listen in or, well, I mean, this is a podcast, so they're not listening in. I mean, they're choosing to listen to our conversation, but they listen to conversations like this and they think, oh, Reiki worked for them, but they probably started in a much better place than I did. And it's like, well, I mean, we started in a different place than you did. But I think sometimes when you get to that place of, knowing what love feels like or knowing what Reiki, how it can bless your life. I'll just say it simply like that. It's like sometimes we forget, I know it sounds like so terrible, but like we forget to talk about the pain that came first. And it's not that there's not pain now too, but it's different. It's just different.
Our ability to handle it changes. Our
Yeah.
perception around it shifts. One of my students had experienced a situation. It was while she had been taking the Reiki master level class. I teach that class, level 3 class over 5 weeks, level 4 over 5 weeks, and level 5 over 6 weeks. But so it was during that 5 weeks that she was taking level 3, and her husband had had a heart attack.
Mm.
And she said that she was so grateful that it was during that period of time where she was feeling Reiki leveling up within her, because she said it was almost as though she was observing herself and being able to have clarity and to have calm amidst all the emotional upheaval that's still there. You still feel the emotions, but there was this clarity and this calm that to the point where when her daughter came to the hospital, her daughter said, I want to know if you're okay because you seem really calm and that's not normal.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things Reiki helps us with. And it's like
Yeah.
we get these ignitions. And I feel like one of the things I'd like to say to anybody who's listening, maybe you've been practicing Reiki for a while and you feel like you're not seeing the shifts yet, or you feel like you're still struggling and maybe you're questioning if it's working for you. Keep sticking with it. Keep up with your daily practice, because there will come moments that feel like these big moments where big shifts happen, but there are a series of a lot of smaller shifts that you might not even be aware of unless you're journaling maybe about your day, and then go back and read your journal from a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. You're going to see the change in your voice and your perception that you might not have been aware of without reflecting.
Yeah, that's amazing. That feels like a beautiful place to land for this for now. And I would love to shift into, you mentioned 9 chakras, you mentioned a book. Spoiler alert. I would love to talk about that some too. Do you use the chakras in your Reiki work as well?
I do. I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. Actually, the 10 positions that we do in the Dragonfire Reiki teachings are a little bit different. We embrace the Sui ones as well, but we do combinations with the chakras that create some really interesting things in healing in the field. And
Nice.
I learned about the chakras probably about a year, maybe a few months before I learned Reiki, and they complement each other so well. There are different chakra systems around the world. In the West, the 7 chakra system is the one that we hear most about. Some may also talk about the Earth Star chakra and the Soul Star chakra above and below the body. It was in 2016 when I was doing a Reiki session on somebody that I saw the energy field open up in front of me. I see auras sometimes, but in this session at a doctor's office, I saw the chakras suddenly open up very strong in the energy field, and there was a chakra at the feet and a chakra around the knees. And as well as the other 7. And then all of those 9 chakras continued above the body in varying realms, and then also continue below the body in varying realms too, X-ray and gamma below, ultraviolet and infrared above, and it was so fascinating. It took about 2 years after I initially saw them for all the intuition to come in about what do the chakras mean? What is the symbol? What are the stones? What are the colors and sounds that are associated with those chakras? And so I've written a book that uses a lot of storytelling along with facts about the chakras. So it's not just a book to read and go, okay, here's all the facts I need to remember, and it's really hard to remember them all. Instead, you'll be learning about them through storytelling. And I feel like that helps us embrace that wisdom.
Yeah, that's amazing. So is the book like, I don't know how to say, I don't want to say just, but I don't know how, like, is the book focused mainly on the chakras or is the book also about Reiki?
Mm. So this book is more on the chakras. It does have Reiki mentioned a little infused through some of the stories as
That makes
well,
sense.
because Reiki is amazing, of course, with all chakra work. Anything that is in disharmony within any of the chakras very easily can be fixed simply through Reiki or any of the other techniques. I love Reiki because it's so simple to practice. It's simple, practical, efficient, and so loving. And so I found it interesting when all the chakras started to kind of come into view to see how it loops through the body too. If you look at the root chakra as the first chakra, you bring those energies up all the way through root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. You're creating this energetic loop that goes up through the body. And then that energy comes down and it comes down into the feet, loops up through the knees, and then begins again in the root chakra. It almost creates this infinity sign of the energy of all of the chakras moving together. The chakra at the knees is, do you want to hear a little about the two
I
other chakras?
absolutely, yes, please.
All right. The chakra at the knees is a connection to our angels. We all have a guardian angel when we come into this realm, and so many other angels that want to work with us, love us, are ready to help us. All we simply need to do is ask because they respect free will. Chakra around the knees helps us with connection to the angelic realm to be able to hear them a bit easier. They can always hear us very easily, but it helps us to hear their whispers and to learn from them. And it also is a chakra of protection. The chakra around the knees, it actually looks like an infinity sign that goes over one knee and under and over the other one, back and forth. And it's like copper and gold and bronze and black, like tiger's eye colors. It's really beautiful. One of the main mantras I would say for that chakra would be we all are fragile as we come into this world, yet we have an amazing ability not only to survive, but also to thrive. And the chakra at the knees helps us with that thriving. So if you ever feel like you're unsupported in life or you're needing that extra protection for something you're going into, maybe a relationship and there's a conversation you need to have, you can ask the angels, put your hands on your knees and ask them to bring their guidance to help guide the conversation. The angels to send love to the other person that you need to have the conversation with to help prepare them in whatever way is best for the conversation, to prepare you as well. Reiki, of course, that will activate all of that even more.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay. How much more do you want to say about the chakras? How much more do you want to share? That's amazing. So the book goes through, so does the book have like what you just described, the mantra and the colors and all of that? It has all of the information plus storytelling that kind of
Does.
associates with each one. That's really
It
cool.
does. Yeah. And there's also a QR code in the book because there's a meditation that everyone can use. You can either read the words on the meditation or the QR code will take you to a special private part of our YouTube channel where you can watch a beautiful guided imagery and listen to the meditation or close your eyes and listen to it's an activation of the chakras. So each chakra has its own activation and then there's also one that will be balancing and harmonizing all of them together from the cosmic origin of the feet all the way up to the crown energy too.
Oh, that's amazing. So the book actually has links or like a QR code that will take them to a private channel, a private YouTube channel where they can actually get meditations. But what I heard you say is
The
activations.
activations, really, yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's
The
awesome.
energy is incredible in them. That's yeah, yeah.
And this book is in progress, right? It's
It
not
is.
launched yet.
Not yet, not yet. Yeah, I will. I'm hoping for the end of the year, but it's so close. But yes, we still I need to
Yeah.
work on a few more things with the editing process. I can't wait to bring it into the world. I know there will be a future book about Reiki and another one about the Japan experiences. The chakra book is going to be the first one that comes out. It was kind of interesting too with the chakra book. So the universe has told me I'm a little rebellious, and my husband asked me to please stop rebelling against the universe because it never works out. He's much more accepting. I tend to be very skeptical of things, so I like things to be very evidence based. And so when I kept hearing the universe saying you're supposed to write a book from an early age, anytime I went to a psychic, they always said you're supposed to write a book. I'm like, I know it's not happening right now, maybe later. And the universe actually threw me down the stairs to write this book. If you want to hear, I don't know if we have time for that story today
Yeah,
or.
go for it. Go for it.
And so, and this is one of those instances where my husband said, you have to listen to the universe. We cannot have this happen again. So, and maybe you've had your own moments where you felt like, I know I'm supposed to do this. And then, something pushes you into that. I had, and hindsight helps a bit as well. So last year in May, I was working a lot. I travel and teach a lot throughout the US and then overseas as well. And I was doing a lot of like back to back trips. And I knew that the universe was wanting me to write a book or write this book. I'd started it a little bit before, but I was just barely working on it here and there. And I ended up on one of the trips, or right as I got home, sorry, the day after I got home from a trip, I tore the meniscus in my knee. And
Oh,
so that kind of stopped me in my tracks for being able to do much. And I was kind of knew that I needed to have a break. I thought about writing the book during that time, but I was so tired and I just thought I never let myself rest. Rest is self-care. So I rested for a couple of weeks, which the universe said was absolutely fine to do. But I was supposed to get back to working on my book instead of filling my calendar again afterwards. I didn't realize that till later. Hindsight is always, again, so much easier. So after I had torn the meniscus in my knee, I was going down the stairs and I had booked a client. It was the first client I was rescheduling since I had torn the meniscus, and I had booked them for the next morning. So I got up that morning, was going down on crutches. I made it about 3 steps and then fell the rest of the way with the crutches kind of launching me, kind of like a ping pong ball around the walls. And I severed the vertebrae in my spine right in the middle of my back at the L1, which is basically at the waist. The doctors said that they could not believe that I wasn't paralyzed. They don't see injury that severe without paralysis. They call it a burst fracture, where the vertebrae basically burst into lots of little pieces and lodged in the muscles and all the way through to where the spinal cord was. Usually, if it gets that close, then the spinal cord needs to be protected. And so while I spent a month of recovery, both between the surgery and the recovery center. I will say kyphoplasty is amazing. They wanted to use 5 vertebrae and put rods in my back. I said no, because I kept feeling Reiki saying, no, you don't need that. No, there's another option. 3 days I was arguing with the doctors, basically saying, no, there's something else. And my husband afterwards would say, you know what this something else is because you're in a really dangerous spot and you can't move at all and this isn't good. I was like, no, but I know there's something else. On the third day, the surgeon came in and said, okay, there's this guy on the phone. He had it on speakerphone and told me to talk to him. He was not pleased about this situation. The guy on the phone does kyphoplasty, which is like a bone cement. So he basically glued my vertebrae back together. He pushed in what he could of the shattered parts, and other parts will just stay in my muscles. And he glued it together. So there's no rods, there's no metal, there's
oh
no
wow.
all of that stuff that takes a very long recovery. And instead, I had basically a month that I was in this facility for recovery and am able to less than a year later go to Japan and hike in the mountains. So it shows you how great kyphoplasty is. I feel like Reiki, that was protection. While I was there, I kind of diverged in my story here. While I was there at the recovery center, My husband had gone home and he said he came back in the morning and he said, I was asking Reiki, and this is new for him. So he's practiced Reiki for about 6 years now, but it's new for him to learn to talk to Reiki. He's been doing that over the last couple years, but only for himself. So this was his first question. He said, Reiki, I know there's a reason that this happened, and we need to know what the reason is. So can you tell me, why did this happen? What is the lesson that's here to learn? Because when we learn that lesson, we can move forward better and do what we need to do. And so he used a pendulum, first time ever that he used a pendulum for a question like this. And he had his ideas of what he thought it would be, and it was no to all of those things. And so then he said, "Is this about the book?" And not really expecting it to be about the book. And it said yes with a really big swing. And so he asked it, okay, if she starts writing the book right away, will we be able to get the surgery that she needs scheduled sooner? And it said big yes. I said, okay, interesting. If she writes right away before the surgery, will the surgery have a better outcome? And it was another huge yes. So he ran down and told me. And so as he was finishing telling me, I said, grab my laptop. And I put it up. Had to lay on my side because I had to stay very still for my spine. So I'm kind of twisting my arms a little, pivoting my arms a little. I can't see the keyboard because of where it is on the hospital tray. And I just start typing the book like right away. And then I start this nonstop. I wrote for a few hours that night while I was, dealing with everything around me. And the very next morning, the surgeon's office called and said, hey, guess what? We have an opening. We can get you in tomorrow morning if you want. Like, what? And it was amazing. And so I dedicated my months of time off with recovering and just writing nonstop, basically, to bring this into the world. And it would not have happened because I am that stubborn unless the universe basically did this. And it protected me at the same time. And that I feel like when we embrace these lessons that the universe wants to share with us, when we, instead of saying, why me from like a pity party way or like being a victim, we say, why did this happen? I'm a co creator in this life. Why did this happen? Why would I have chosen this in partnership with the universe? There's something I'm supposed to know. And when we have that willingness, it's amazing the way things will work out. Um, yeah, so I feel like
Yeah.
Reiki protected me. Severe injury, I had a choice. I don't know that I would have had the same outcome if I hadn't started writing the book.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I want to make sure people know how to find you because you have a lot of when is this trip? When is the trip? It's soon.
It is, yeah. We actually do have a spot for one more female and one more male if they're interested in coming. We leave April 4th. Since it's about rebirth, we're leaving so that we can land on Easter in Japan. We
Okay.
land 5th. And yeah, it's going to be incredible. April 4th through April 16th is when people arrive back home. And I'll be coming back on May 1st. Our website has a lot of information about a ton of classes that we teach, both online. We teach hybrid ones that are online and in person at the same time. Or if anybody's interested in me coming out to your community, I love it when people want to host a class, and I will come out and help with everything, setting everything up for you. Earthandskyscenter.com is our website, earthandskyscenter.com. Or you can email us at jj@earthandskyscenter.com.
Did you say JJ?
Yes, that's my
Okay.
husband. Yeah. Or
Okay.
you can do earthspicecenter@gmail.com. But my husband does so much of the email part, which is so helpful. So JJ at, and just the two letters, JJ at earthandskyscenter.com.
Perfect. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I wanted to make sure I didn't mishear the letters.
Thank you. Yeah, those are ones
Yeah.
that can get confusing too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, this feels like this was such a lovely conversation, and this feels like a lovely way to wrap up. And I feel like I should ask. Or I'm feeling called to ask. I don't should myself anymore.
I like
I'm
that.
feeling I'm feeling called to ask if there's anything Anything else? Like if there's another message coming through that
Mm.
feels like a good place to close before we wrap up and sign off.
Yeah. So when I just kind of tune in with Reiki and asking the universe, what message does our listener need to hear? And I just feel this beautiful message coming through. I feel this coming through with the blessing with Archangel Ariel and Archangel Michael both together, saying that they know that somebody is listening that is really looking for love in your life right now. You just feel like you've been alone. You feel like you've had to do this yourself for so long. You maybe aren't feeling that you're trusting yourself in the process, and just allow yourself to know within you, even if it doesn't feel real at first, know that you are so deeply loved. The angels are coming through specifically just to tell you directly that you are loved, that you are held. You can ask them for help whenever you need, and know that we love you. Even if I haven't met you before, I genuinely, truly care about you, the soul that you are, who you are, the path that you're taking in this life. And there's a reason that you are here in this life right now. And there's a reason that you are listening to this show right now. And they really want you to know that you are loved. Take that, believe that in your heart. Over time, if you say it out loud, you're going to start believing it yourself. You'll know it as reality.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
thank you so much for being here. I think that is a perfect, beautiful way to land. And I hope we get to have another conversation on the mic sometime soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too, Angelica. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.